So we're just going to measure the intervals around this G. All right, so let's do it. We're going to start with let's start with just the octaves. So let's go up first. So if I go up, so now I notice I have two strings above it. So this whole measurement's going to be a little bit different because we've been measuring before from a top string or the one down. We haven't been able to go up two strings unless we go around the bottom of the guitar in prior presentations. So let's say that we go up one string. So we're going to say we count the distance. It's going to be, I'm going to call it -5. There's a 5-note distance between the strings except in the fault line down here. 5, and then -4, -3, -2, -1, and 0 or 12. So that means, let's count it up here, -5, -4, -3, -2, -1, or 0. So from here to here, same. So that's the octave right there. Actually, it's kind of like the same note, but I'm going to say that, I'm just going to look for all the G's that are reachable around basically this pivot point. All right, and so that's good. So that means that if I go down one string, the octave is always going to, wait a sec. No, if I go up one string, the octave is always going to be 5 frets forward unless I cross the fault line. The only time I could cross the fault line is if I'm on the G string. So if I was on the G string, then it's been pushed up. So then if I go up, it's only going to be 4 frets forward. So the rule will be, if I go up one string, the octave is always going to be 5 frets forward unless I cross the fault line, which only happens on the B string, in which case, because this whole tectonic plate was shifted forward, it's only going to be 4 frets forward. Okay, so then let's go 2 strings up. So if I go 2 strings up, it's going to be -5, -10, and then -11 and -12. That's how I typically count it. So that's possibly the most common interval, but most people probably measure it more from top to bottom, and it might be less easy to see when you're going from here up. So we want to be able to see it both ways. So if I count it, it would be -5, -10, and then -11, -12. So there's the octave. So that is nice. And so that means that if I go up 2 strings, the octave is always going to be 2 frets back unless I cross the fault line. And I would cross the fault line if I'm on the bottom 2 strings, right? So if I was here, oh no. If I was down here, then because this all shifted up, it's going to be back another one. And if I started from here, then it's going to be back another one. Those are the 2 possibilities where I would start below and then go up, and it would cross the fault line. So that means that if I go up 2 strings, the octave will always be 2 frets back unless I cross the fault line, which could happen on either of the bottom 2 strings, the ones closest to the floor, in which case if I go up 2 strings, the octave will be 3 frets back. Okay? And then let's go down to the next one. I'm not going to say okay anymore. I'm not asking for approval here. I'm telling you how it is. That's how it is, man. Okay? Is it okay if that's how it is? It doesn't matter if it's okay. That's how it is, man. It is what it is. I don't need to, whatever, if people think it's okay or not, I don't even care, because it is what it is, dude. All right, let's go down. If I go down one, it's going to be 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then 0 or 12. I can count here. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0 or 12. So there's that. So that means that if I go down one string, the octave is always going to be 5 frets back unless I cross the fault line, which is only possible to happen if I'm on the G string, which would be over here, in which case, because now I'm going down and below, this whole fault line moved up, so it got pushed forward. So if I go down one string, the octave is going to be 5 frets back unless I'm crossing the fault line, which only happens on the actual G string, in which case when I go down one string, the octave is 4 frets back. Okay? Okay, no, don't say okay. I'm not saying that no more. I'm just doing what is. All right, let's go down 2 strings. So if we go down 2 strings and cross the fault line, it's going to be 5 and then shift up here to 10 and then 11, 12 or the octave. So if I did not cross so let me count it up here before I start thinking about it. Be 5 and then shift up here to 10, 11, 12. All right. Now, if I didn't cross the fault line, what would it be? If I was like up here, it would be, if I go down 2 strings, it would be 5, 10, 11, 12. So the rule would be, if I go down 2 strings, the octave, which is possibly the most common one that people know the best, right, is going to be 2 frets forward. I'm still saying right. It's going to be 2 frets forward. But if you go down 2 strings and you do cross the fault line because there was a shift up in the fault line, then the octave is going to be 3 frets forward, and you will cross the fault line 2 of the 4 available times that you could go down 2 strings, because if you start on the D string or the G string, you're going to cross the fault line. But if you start on the E string and the A string, you won't cross the fault line. And if you start on the B or the E string, you run out of strings unless you go around the horn back up to the top. But if you did that, you probably wouldn't measure it the same way, although I still think it's a good practice to think about going around the top, but we're not going to do it on this one, maybe next one. So then we're going to go, what if we go down 3 strings and cross the fault line? It would be 5, and then 10 up here, and then 15. 15 minus 12 is down to 3, 2, 1, 0. Let's count it out this way. It'd be 5, and then 15. 15 minus 12 is 3, 2, 1, 0. Boom. So that means if I go down 3 strings and cross the fault line, then the octave is 2 frets back. Now, what if I didn't cross the fault line? What if I didn't cross the fault line? Well, then it would be, if I go down 3 strings and I don't cross the fault line, the octave would be 1, 2, 3 frets back. But if I did cross the fault line, which is going to happen like most of the time, 2 out of the 3 possible times I'm going to cross the fault line if I'm on this string, or 2 out of, right, and if I go down 3 strings, and do cross the fault line, then it's going to be 2 frets back. Okay, makes perfect sense. All right, so then I won't go around. Should I go around the top? No, I'll go on to the next one.